Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Andrew Summers here, and I hope you're not tired of helicopters, because what I have is, well, yet another helicopter. This one in particular has an interesting story behind it, and I'll tell you right now, if you couldn't tell already, it is a model of a UH-1N Twin Huey. Now, the story behind this model goes that in about 2010-2011, on Flickr, I was part of this faction building contest. And basically, you had to come up with your own faction and make figures and make vehicles and whatnot for it, and you won a prize. I think the prize was like $50 in brick arms or something, which back then was like cash money. But yeah, so I had to design an entire faction with all this accoutrement. Now, one of the vehicles I built was a Twin Huey, or at least what I guess thought kind of sort of looked like a Twin Huey. I'll let you be a judge of that, as the design is, well, I'll just post a picture on the screen right now. So that was kind of my first foray into Lego helicopter making, at least on Flickr. I think maybe once before on mock pages I had built a helicopter design. But this was my first foray into designing a helicopter. And I chose the Twin Huey because, well, I've always liked the Twin Huey design. It's, of the Hueys, that is my favorite. And obviously, in comparison with this model, there are quite a few changes, but there are also quite a few similarities. Now, what happened, and the backstory behind this model specifically, is that I was digging through some files on my computer, mainly my for sale, like Rebrickable files, and buried in a folder I found instructions for that original Huey. And I looked at it and I said, you know, this design, if I spruce it up a little bit, I think it still would be very modern. And modern in the sense of it could be something I would build today or someone else could build today, and it would still fit some sort of like current day building standard. So I decided to resurrect the build, and in doing so, I wanted to make a model that was very reminiscent of the old one, but was also spruced up with a bit of new magic. Mainly new parts, pieces, to try to make it look more accurate, but to keep in the sort of same style as the one I built back in 2011 for that faction contest. So this is what I came up with here. And right away you can see that there are a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. Basically, when I looked at the old one, my favorite bits on that model, I think, were just the overall simplicity and shape. It wasn't too intricate. At the same time, it wasn't lacking detail. It looked, I think, like a Twin Huey with just some artistic interpretation. But on this model, I went back through it and I redid quite a few stuff, but like I said, kept a lot of the same crucial elements. So to take it from the front here, the nose was one thing that I completely redid. As you can see, it uses a lot of new pieces on it and is a totally far cry from what the original design looked like. Up front, we have these slopes here to simulate the glass on the front of a Huey. And then we also have a sensor at the bottom as well. The windscreen didn't really change at all, still using the same parts, but this time I incorporated shaped doors, if you will. So if you look at it from the front like so, you can sort of see that the doors angle out to match the body of a helicopter, the width change. And I also updated the roof I guess, of the glass to change it out for some curved tiles there instead of the design I originally had. But the doors themselves, obviously, they open up, and inside there are room for 2 pilots, all flying around like so. The skids. Now, the skids are unchanged from that original model. I think they just worked, so we kept that as is. The cabin, not much changed here as well. You can still fit a total of 6 minifigures. Kind of a bit of a squeeze, but you can still fit them in. Obviously, I'm using jumper plates to make that happen. In the door situation, the design of the door changed a little bit, but you can still slide them open and closed like so. And I think on the original model, that's what one of the things I was most proud of about that original model was that I found a way to incorporate sliding doors. Might not be the most sightly way of doing it, because you got this rod running through here and then these cones as well. But I think it really works for a sliding door. Then when we go to the back here, this really didn't change. And I'm going to lift up this door like so just to show you the shaping. This was pretty much all original design back here. So I really didn't change anything to this at all. I just think it really works for shaping. Now, if you wanted to, I suppose you could replace this angled portion here with like 1x4 curved slopes to make it a bit smoother. But again, in keeping with the original design, I kept this element to it. And then obviously the tail rotor, that works. So that spins around like so. Really didn't change much on the tail end as well. When we go around to the other side, it's just more the same. Though I think I'll talk about the engines here. The engines, also an original design. So using these wheels right there, that didn't change from the original model. I like the design of those, so kept those. But the engine, or the rotor hub, this area in here, this is pretty much all new. I just think it looks a bit more accurate, including the intakes up there. Far cry from how the design used to be. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this Huey right here. It is really fun revisiting old designs. I've done that a time or two where I just think, I really like the look of something I built in the past, but it could use a bit of updating. And that's really what this model was here. It's up on my shelf next to my Dakota. In fact, it's actually borrowing the rocket pods from the Dakota because I don't have enough of these barrel pieces. But, for the video, I'll use them on this instead. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this look at my UH-1N Huey. As always, if you'd like instructions, those are available on my Rebrickable. So, till the next time, bye.